Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the continuation of the Mid-South Wrestling Review Series 1982 edition, and it is the 1982 November 27th edition, specifically. Changes running about in Mid-South in this time frame, and Tony Atlas does a very good bench press, 500 and 550 pounds. They give him about the first 8 or so minutes of the program to do that. Ted DiBiase talks about the challenges of being the North American champion and that he wants Stagger Lee, a.k.a. the Junkyard Dog, run out of town. That is the promo that he cuts for the most part. And then we move to a match joined in progress, I believe, from Houston as Tiger Conway Jr. Faces off against Ted DiBiase. Conway chases him all over the ring and the outside. DiBiase takes several hard shots from his adversary there, and big Irish whip and a hard shot right between the eyes by Conway. Conway Jr. is, of course, a mainstay in the southern parts of the country and gets his opportunity here. I don't know if he ends up being a major part of Mid-South in 83 through 85. We'll see, I'm sure, in the weeks and months to come, but I know he does do quite well in other areas of the country. Big arm drags and a drop kick right on the heels of DiBiase. DiBiase heads for lower ground in a hurry. Certainly he is willing to take backward steps wherever he can, as needed, to protect that North American Championship. And, this match is mainly meant to be a highlight for Conway in the area, I'm sure, but also the importance of the North American Championship not understated. We see DiBiase complaining about a hair pull when in reality all Conway Jr. did was use the arm and arm drags and the like. So DiBiase continuing to be the unscrupulous heel that we've learned him to be over the last several months. And obviously, without a doubt, Mid-South is the place to be if you like a more sports-based product. I think a lot of companies could learn from Mid-South, and yes, there are ways you can update that into modern wrestling. I don't think you need 10 segments and 6 of them being promos, and I don't think you need a lot of high-impact moves. I think you can still get things over in a simpler way. DiBiase with a back elbow and actually sells it for 30 seconds. Goes for the reverse chinlock, gets an advantage for himself, and stays on. And then you see, obviously, Conway fight back to a vertical base. Obviously, the vertical base is needed for any major comeback, so that is necessary. He does mount a medium-level comeback, does Conway Jr., and fans are reasonably in support of that, as they are conditioned to believe he's a big deal. Of course, Paul Bosch, your promoter in the Texas area at the time, Houston specifically, and I think Texas is one of the few territories that has, 2 or 3 territories running through the 80s. Amarillo, Houston, and the Dallas area, I think, all ran up until various points in the 80s. Anyway, hard shots by Tiger Conway Jr. and big back body drop by him. DiBiase, again, such an amazing back down heel for the majority of this match, and I wish more heels understood that begging off, backing off, big deal, can be a big deal, and can get your message across just as much as major shots. DiBiase loads the glove, boom, nails Conway, and away we go. We then go to an interview with Skandor Akbar, who's been missing for a while, at least predominantly, and he informs us that he has procured the services of Kamala. And he also says that Kamala, the only one to beat the Junkyard Dog without outside interference. Big splash by Kamala less than 2 minutes into the match. 1, 2, 3 gets a victory. And then we see a tag match. Mr. Olympia and Mike Sharp against the Davidsons. Davidson's relatively unknown there. And so we kind of, you know going into the match that it's going to be one-sided. That's okay. The fans are okay with that because they like Mr. Olympia and Mike Sharp at this point in their Mid-South journey. Always amazing to me that back then you could tape TV at the same place on a weekly basis and still keep fans. That shows you that talent was actually over. They couldn't do that in a million years in a national promotion. Now I don't think. Anyway, series of knees to the hammer-locked arm of one of the Davidsons, and then that is by Mr. Olympia. Olympia now with the blue and white starred mask. And then we see Sharp come back in. He stays on the arm. The legal Davidson makes his way back to a vertical base before getting cut off once again. Sharp not really wanting anything to do with the situation as far as, wasting a whole bunch of time. The other Davidson comes in eventually, and an Irish whip. Big back body drop. And a drop kick right under the chin. Irish whip there. And again with a big back body drop. And a drop kick. Meanwhile, Olympia to the second rope on the inside. Gets a high cross body from the second rope and gets a victory. We go to another match. This time, Mr. Wrestling 2 and Marty Lundy. Wrestling 2 again. Kind of wondering who's causing him issues. Lundy with a headband and back to more traditional style, brief style trunks this time out, so maybe a different TV taping or whatever. Hip toss takeovers and the like, and Lundy heads out to lower ground in a hurry, trying to gather his thoughts. Mr. Wrestling 2 doesn't want to waste a whole lot of time in there, but he is obviously looking to wrestle quite well. And then we see big kind of go behind there. We also see Arn with a couple of shoulder tackles in the corner, backs off, and Wrestling 2 catches a short knee on Arn right from the corner. Doesn't necessarily go too terribly far, but again, gets the job done. Backdrop by Wrestling 2, and he manages to hit a big power slam, or a body slam more accurately, in the middle of the ring, and Arn comes up again, bumping and feeding so well for a rookie, and manages to do quite well. Amazing to me is that Arn Anderson has 15 years in the sport before his career was cut short, and imagine the influence he had in that time. Short knee lift and a win for Mr. Wrestling 2. The returning Bob Roop, who we haven't seen in quite a number of weeks, and he is here with Mike Bond. Of course, Roop, a former North American champion, former alliance member with DiBiase. Of course, that alliance has faded away over the last several weeks and months, and they feuded with each other, but that was here is here, and Roop manages to get a short kind of wrestle behind, go behind type situation, and then tries for the vertical suplex before getting tied up in the ropes before he can execute the move. Roop doesn't really like to waste a lot of motion. You see a lot of short forearms, lots of more towards brawling style, not completely, but a little more aggressive than the last time we saw him. Bond, not wanting to be outdone, though, hits a series of forearms of his own that are pretty impressive looking. Roop finally does get the vertical suplex and actually falls into a brain buster, which is odd for him, as a finish. 1, 2, and 3, and he gets a victory. Then we go to Hiro Matsuda and Yatsu versus King Cobra and Tim Horner as the last attraction on the day. Of course, these both are Yoshiatsu and Hiro Matsuda, big stars in Japan, but also throughout the United States territories. Matsuda, It does a lot of work in Florida, making a stop through here actually, and is responsible for training Hulk Hogan, among others, down in the Florida territory. And Yatsu, we haven't really seen a lot of, continues to come up. Horner, though, gets a few body slams on him and some near falls. Horner been treated very well in the Mid-South area for his level of experience, considered a hard shot by Yatsu to the midsection. And we continue to see the Japanese stars dominate. Big kick by Yatsu, who takes the majority of the match. Cobra comes in and gets a surprising victory over the Japanese stars. And that will close us for November of 1982. We will be back to close out December, and we will be back with more action right after this.